What is up, y'all? Bacon here on this beautiful sunny day in Europe. Today, I feel like it's a good day to go over what I think are some crazy financial beliefs or myths or whatever you want to call them that I've noticed while discussing stuff like investing, real estate, business, and really just all around finances with people that I know and work with. Not that I know more. I'm not saying anybody's dumb for the way that they think or I'm judging anybody, but it's just stuff that I feel has been indoctrinated in the US society through lack of real financial education and who's actually the recipients of the true financial education. These are all just lessons I've learned, ideas, things that I've seen that have changed my finances for the better over the last 10 years or so. If you like the video, have your own thoughts on financial education, smash the like button, subscribe, and comment. The real financial education is actually taught in either those super high-end private schools, and I don't mean your local private school that costs a couple grand a year. I'm talking those super high-end $20,000 a month, Bill Gates kids would go to it. Or, what I think's most likely the case, it's passed down through family experience and knowledge. This isn't a political statement by any means, but at this point, who doesn't know the Trump family? Do you think Don or his kids learned all about business, real estate, and avoiding taxes legally through school? Hell no. They learned it through residual knowledge being passed down from generation to generation. His father started and built a real estate empire, passed it down, and now it's just up to him and his kids to continue on and not fail too big. It's a financial snowball. Grandpa started it, and each generation's goal is and should be to just not lose it. This is how the rich become wealthy, the wealthy become super wealthy, and the super wealthy eventually become old money. Myself and the people I work with, we're all intelligent, educated people who make a really good living. But we don't have that kind of money, and in part because real financial education is kind of overlooked or maybe avoided in the typical US school system, so we don't learn those things until we get older and more interested in it ourselves. For how important finances are in life, they aren't really taught well or with as much emphasis as they should be. I don't consider myself a genius or an expert at anything, but I am pretty good at stepping back, thinking things through logically. If I do this and that, X should happen. Being in IT, there are plenty of guys I work with who are way smarter than me about whatever we're working on at any given time. They can and will talk circles around me. But what I've become pretty good at is being able to understand a holistic view of an environment or a group of items, learn as much as I can about it, and then dumb it down and draw it out for people like management who just want to see stuff working and blinky lights. In reality, it's the same thing with finances. Yeah, most of us have taken some boring, overly in-depth class on finances where they want you to learn a bunch of definitions or complex equations that either A, make no sense when they aren't broken down to the basics or explained with baby gloves. That's how I do it in my job. And nobody notices or thinks I'm being condescending, even when I am, because in IT, sometimes people just, they don't get it. And B, put them into a real world or real life scenarios that normal people would experience. Why discuss the finances of $1 billion company like Starbucks when the majority of people will never need to know that level of finances? I know it's just numbers, and if you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide single and double digit numbers, you should be able to do it with 6 and 7 figures. Unfortunately, until you have that kind of experience, it just doesn't work that way, and it confuses most people, especially if the teacher or professor hasn't piqued your interest, and most teens or people in their 20s aren't really intrigued by typical finances. Topics like finances are generally pretty boring to almost anybody. Hell, years ago when I first really got interested in real estate investing, it still took me a good while of watching YouTube videos about real estate to how to figure out the numbers to really understand it. And again, That's with me really wanting to learn it. So think about the people that are just in class for the credits. They need their interest piqued, pun intended. Now, some of these ideas that I see as being myths or just brainwashed into our society are things like work hard to get ahead. Some people get 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. That's definitely working hard, but it doesn't sound like it's getting ahead. Work hard to get ahead should be work smarter, not harder. My personal belief in a 9 to 5 is work as little as possible so you can focus on other sources of income while still doing enough to look like a good, stellar employee. It's a big game of cat and mouse, so just play it right. Why should you work your ass off in a job or 2 that you don't enjoy and you're struggling financially when there's plenty of jobs out there that only require a certification or a phone or even just a laptop? You should find a job that you can work just hard enough to make and save money that you can then invest and start having your money work for you. Your money working for you is the ideology that should be focused on. Whether it's house hacking in real estate, starting a YouTube channel, Amazon drop shipping. Hell, if you take the time, spend a little bit of money to get the right equipment, set up your a room properly, you can do stuff like being the voice of an audiobook. You can literally get paid to read books. Working in a field for the retirement or pension or the 401k. Do you really want to work for, say, the city or the county, making barely more than minimum wage, all in the hopes of a decent retirement in 20 plus years? Or do you really want to be a cop or a fireman? Or is being in the military something that you really want to do? If not, why would you waste the next 20 or 30 years doing it, making okay money, but not really enjoying the work you do, just so at 65 you can get a portion of what you used to make as if you were making so much while working? Now you've just wasted away the prime years of your life working your ass off with the hopes that in 20, 30, 40 years you receive a semi-livable monthly income that will allow you to get by. But there's no actual assurance that that'll even happen. Because don't you think you won't have to fight for your pension, your retirement, your social security? All those investment bankers and finance advisors aren't making money by helping you get the money you put away for retirement. They make their money off of you allowing them to invest your money so the company they work for can use it to make them money. It's your money working for them instead of your money working for you. That's genius. For them, saving your money. That's a fool's game pushed on society by bankers and Wall Street to the lower and middle class. Not to say you shouldn't have a safety net or a few months worth of bills saved up in case, but those same financial advisors that are telling you to save are the same people using your $20, $50, $100,000 in the bank to invest in syndications, stocks, hedge funds, etc. Why couldn't you do it on your own? Oh, it's just because it's not something that you or I are taught in school. People are being sold on the short game of save your money through fear-mongering, while they're winning the long game with your money and investing it. If you're sitting on $50,000 in a savings account getting 1 to 2%, you need to reevaluate and invest that money in something that'll make you 6 to 10% and not the bank. Retirement and savings are 2 things in my opinion. 1, a pyramid scheme that the government and banks are at the top of. And 2, they're a fear-mongering on both ends. You'll be told on one hand you need to be liquid and save, but on the other hand, invest for the future. Now, I know you can pull money out of your retirement, but at a hefty fine, and if you do it right, you can also invest with your retirement. But how to do it properly isn't really information that's readily available without a lot of research, because if you do it wrong, the government is definitely coming after you. Then there's getting completely out of debt by paying off your house, your car, or really any of those larger bills. Great, you may be doing better than paycheck to paycheck now with no mortgage or no car payment, but are you living a better life per se? In all reality, most people probably just start buying more crap, but we won't get into that today. What you should be doing is using debt or leverage to create more income streams. If you can pay 3 to 4% interest on, say, $500,000 loan, then why not pay the bank its 3 to 4% interest, and you invest that $500,000 into something that pays you 8 to 12% interest. That means you're making 4, 5, 6% interest on the bank's $500K. That's the best use of OPM or other people's money I can think of, because making money off the bank is what wealthy people do, and it's worth its weight in gold. It's what's called good debt. Yes, there's such thing as good debt. I have a couple videos about it myself, which I'll link in the description below. Hopefully you liked the video. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and comment. We can always talk finance. Cheers.